Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Morning Coffees with James. I'm James, and this show you're watching on Instagram, Facebook, and the YouTubes is my morning coffee show. How are you all doing today? Well, today is, by the way, music is playing is Repairing the Mind is a alternate Resident Evil survival music by Survival Sphere. If you haven't heard Survival Sphere, look them up. They make really great music. So, what are we talking about today? Well, today I want to talk about something I've been noticing online, and this is something for YouTube, and if you see this again on Instagram, I'm sorry, but I have to talk about it one more time, and that is the situation with Melanie Mac and razorfist and Goonergate, which I'm honestly at the opinion of I'm tired of all the gate nonsense. I'm tired of either this being a gate, that being a gate, Goonergate, comic gate, this gate, gate. I'm tired of the gate situations. I'm tired of censorship. I'm tired of people trying to struggle. Oh, you know what? I'm tired of just the bullshit we're going through right now. Just people struggling out there, and you have people screaming on both ends of the fence. Now, what is Goonergate? Basically, if you don't know, through the past couple of decades now, well, for the past couple of years, we've been dealing with Sweet Baby Inc. We've been dealing with a lot of the DEI, wokeness, cultural shifting games, movies, television shows, and all that stuff. DEI stuff, the messaging, having this being said, or having that being said, or having this, force agenda shoved down our throats. And I know people, are either pro this or pro that and all this and anti this. I'm all for a good time, but I'm also in for just not being lectured when I want to play a game. I want to just play a game and escape reality. I'm all for escapism, and I don't want my politics, and I don't want politics of anybody's in my game. Yes, you can put politics in games. Yes, you can put like a message and stuff like that in there, but don't make it the main thing. It's the same thing with characters, Don't make his sexuality, his religion, don't make his politics, don't make him just a don't make him a one-dimensional character. Make him two-dimensional, make him three-dimensional. Hell, even make him four dimensions. But the problem I see, people are, back to the point, but people are kind of tired of wokeness in their games. They're tired of wokeness, DEI, and they're tired of that. And the culture war, we're winning the culture war, but now it's kind of quickly shifting to the right side of things. And I'm honestly asking everybody to take a look at this and just hear me out when I say this, but I am neither pro-religious right, nor am I pro-woke leftism progressiveness. So, excuse me, not progressiveness, regressiveness, because it's like, okay, I'm okay for accepting people for who they are. If they're not going to be religious or not, then that's fine. But I'm in the favor of basically finding normancy again. I don't care for the religious right, nor do I care for the left, because they just seem to think their side is the best and they are the true and only God. And it's like, no, you're not. It's like, I'm using poor language here, but it's absolutely true. And I know it's a morning coffee show and I have to drink coffee, but it's kind of an obnoxious thing because I just want games to be normal again. Because if you think about this, I'm going to say this too. Back in the day, I'm talking from like the 90s all the way up to now, like from like 2000, maybe 10, maybe 15, 16, games were pretty much normal. And yes, they had some lewd things in there. And yes, they had some wacky, things that were kind of normal, like attractive women dressing attractively, men dressing attractively. But nowadays, if you have a character like that, you're either be called a gooner or a pig, a misogynist. Well, those are words that, were used back in the day. Like the same thing. A Karen is just a soccer mom. Let's be honest about that. Let's just call them who they are. They're soccer moms. Even if they don't have kids, they're still soccer moms. Middle-aged suburban housewives who have to complain about something because they can't find another hobby except for drinking wine and watching Weeds. Or whatever the fuck they watch nowadays. But it just seems like, and again, I don't agree with the leftist crap, but I don't agree with the rightist crap. I don't agree with a lot what they say or do. And the problem is that, you know, I understand where Melanie Mac and razorfist are coming from. I don't want it to be, you know, going from woke to just basically, you know, overly sexualized things for the sake of being lewd and crude and nude and all that stuff. I don't want it to just be that only. You know, we have games like that, and some of those games are actually, like Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball comes to mind as a precursor to all that. Like, that game is difficult because if you've ever played the volleyball part of that game, it's hard. It's fucking hard. And I hate my fucking computer because it just shuts off. And for those wondering where that amazing digital circus theory video is coming from, if anybody's still interested, I'm still gonna make it. I just hope people can watch it. It's coming. It's just my computer took a shit. My old computer took a shit on me, so we got a new one. But but the Adobe stuff and all that is not there, so I got to get something new. So I'm thinking Vegas. So yeah. But that's my only complaint. I understand where Melanie Mac and razorfist are coming from, but I think people are over exaggerating. And I'm not sure, I gotta watch the whole video of Melanie Mac about this, but the censoring. I'm not okay about censorship. I'm not okay if it's censorship coming from the left, nor if I am okay with censorship coming from the right. I don't like it either way. I don't care if it's the right doing it or the left. I don't care for the censorship either way. I do think there should be people out there trying to, you know, you make something and just have a reason for having it. I'll give you another example from the past. The X-Men movies. And I know people are going to be like, well, that's not comic accurate. But let me explain. Mystique in the movies. I understand, like, people are like, well, she wasn't like that in the comics. She actually had clothes. No, she didn't have clothing on either all the time. The clothing you see on her and when she shapeshifts is an extension of her body. She's naked all the time. I think in the movies they kind of made it more where it's like, okay, she has a real true form where she is like you see everything, but it's scaly. She has more of an alien look to it. And I think she was pretty hot in that movie. I'm sorry. I like movie Mystique. Shoot me. I don't care. But I don't think you should just have it for the sake of having it. You know what I mean? If a character is, if you're just doing it as a fantasy thing, then fine. If you're going to be doing it like, say, Dead or Alive or Mortal Kombat, something that is a fantasy, I'm okay with. But I'm not okay with that being like censored on from the left because it's like, well, it's just so, you know, it's degrading women and it's not realistic and all this stuff, and it's like, oh, get over it. And then I don't care for the right, you know, how it's against the moral sins and the moral high and the satanic panic, and it's like, even that satanic panic thing was just overblown to an extent because, again, not just from the religious right, but from the religious left, and it's just like, enough. And again, I know where Melanie Mac and razorfist are coming from on this, but the thing is that I'm not okay with the censorship. And honestly, I don't really like the thing I'm not really keen on is everybody jumping on razorfist and Melanie Mac and calling them hypocrites, which they kind of are, but they're not, you know, but not really taking a deep dive on what they say and what they mean. It's like, I'm not okay with the censorship, but I'm not okay with having this kind of overt sexuality in video games for the sake of just that. You know, we had games like that back in the day, like Triple X, you know, BMX, or, you know, Naughty Golf, or like Extreme Golf, where we had like sexy women in scantily clothed outfits playing golf. You don't need just a blunt over the head, you know, sticking it to the man kind of game. You need to have reasons for having that. You know what I mean? It's like, but I'm not too keen on just having just kind of Puritans. You know, again, people need to realize this. razorfist is a Puritan. He is going to be a Puritan. He was raised in a safe and calm religious family. He wasn't raised in a bad one, so he didn't have a bad experience with religion. He didn't act out. He found interests that he liked and he went to them. He didn't leave his religion behind. He took it with him, but he also learned to just relax a little bit. You know, and again, if you take a look at his favorite characters, you know, Solomon Kane and The Shadow, very Puritan characters and very, you know, straightforward characters. They don't have these deep, complex things. He's a pulp guy, so why why are you upset about it? I'm more of a Conan guy. I mean, hell. Crom laughs at your 4 winds, my friend. Crush your enemies, see them driven before, and hear the lamentation of their women. But, you know, it's... I'm going to hold this for now. I'm just going to keep it like this. I swear I'm good at this. But no, I think the problem is that most people nowadays are just either we go to one extreme or the other instead of finding common ground. Like again, with Melanie Mac, I really don't agree with her with the whole, you know, OnlyFans thing. Well, it's degrading and it's this and it's that and it's this. If you're just gonna be doing that, then fine. You know, well, she compared to bank robber, which I'm honestly like, those are 2 different fucking things. First of all, OnlyFans, if someone's doing OnlyFans, they seem to, if they're struggling, if they probably have another job and they're trying to struggle to get money and stuff like that, and trying to make a living and trying to, you know, it's the whole strippers at the nurse. I know I'm going to be called out on it too by one of those guys or somebody else on the comments. But by the way, if you don't agree with me, fine. If you agree with me, fine. Give me your comments down below. But I just don't, like, to me, it's like, you know, some people are just trying to make buck. But there are people who just seem to get stuck in that loop of being in that degenerate spot. You know, there's a person I follow on one of my accounts who quit OnlyFans, which I was proud of. They got married and they quit OnlyFans, which I'm like, they still post up some lewd things too, but it's not in the sense, I think they just do it because of the fun of it. You know, and eventually you grow out of it. You know, it's that kind of simple. And some people get paid to do it, and some people get big bucks to do it, and some people don't. You know, and I think people need to realize that. If you're going to be doing OnlyFans, take a look at the risks and the consequences. And if you're doing it, you're probably doing it to get more money to do what you want to do. Or you're trying to pay for something like college or school so you can get it, and so you're not struggling. You know, it's a side hustle. If you're making it your own business, then fine. It's like, who's he? Susu. You know, Susie, Susu.jpeg, I think it is. Her name is. She's a cute goth girl, so yeah. And, you know, she does a lot of YouTube videos, but it just seems like people are either not for, like, people just want to jump on it. And again, the difference is that too. It's like, if you're robbing a bank, you're actually harming people. You're actually committing a crime. You're actually causing damages to people. You're actually, you know, you're harming people's lives. People, and again, I follow a lot of models on Instagram, and follow a lot of models on, you know, X. I follow a lot of models on, you know, DeviantArt, and I sometimes will pay for them. Hell, actually, at one point in time, I was, you know, subscribed to them on Patreon, but I had to cut it off because my money, like, I had some financial situations that, you know, didn't involve that, but I had to cut it because it was like, it was in a financial situation that was not good. You know, I also was following a lot of people who were making other things besides showing their naked bodies. You know, I was following this one group called Almost a Cult Classic, you know, which was $5 a month, and they were not asking for a lot of money. You know, I follow a lot of artists who do a lot of lewd things, but I like their art, and I like their style of art, and I like the characters they make. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm a human being. Get over it. We're flawed. We are all in a balance. I mean, the real reason why religion exists is so we don't resort to being animalistic savages. You know, if you take a look at a lot of the religions too, like Buddhism, like their whole reincarnation thing, you know, if you lived a good life and you reincarnated into the next area, you're basically transcending from human to a new level state of consciousness. You know, but if you fail, you go back to being an animal. You go down into the level of being an animal. Why do you think Lucifer and the whole devil's hell scene is kind of depicted as animalistic? It's because that's also been used in the religious thing too. That's also, you see that in a lot of like life too, like why we had barbarism. Like, you know, people talk about barbarism as and Conan said it the best. Barbarism is basically human nature's, you know, humanity's like default setting. We resort to just being savages. And people talk about civilization and again, civilization's unnatural, but it's perfect in that sense because we can stick together and be, hey, we don't have to cause human sacrifices anymore. we don't have to do this or that. Yes, does it cause weakness? Of course, and that's why we go out into the wilderness, where we go hunt, camp, fish. We go to nature to get back to the roots, but we go back to civilization to stay in that, to be, you know, in a safer environment. You know, it's this kind of, you know, realization. You should look at that. I know people don't want to look at that because they want to be right. It's constantly needing to be right. But religion keeps us in a check. And again, back onto the OnlyFans thing again, I don't diss anybody who's doing OnlyFans. If you're just doing, you know, eroticism, then okay, then you got to do something else. Maybe doing a let's play, maybe doing, you know, a cooking thing, maybe entertain me in a way. And do something. You're basically being a content creator. Make different content. Make YouTube videos talking about, you know, this or that. Talking about products. You know, again, when I go back to susu.jpg, you know, she's doing other videos and doing other things besides, you know, doing lewds and stuff and doing, you know, photos. She's making other things too, which I'm okay with. Like, if you're just doing one thing, then it's not going to work. Eventually, your body's going to give out or something's going to happen. Which, by the way, if you're taking care of yourself and you're not doing crack or any kind of hard drugs or alcohol or whatever, then I'm okay with you doing it for a while. But again, I'm not okay with people like, oh, well, you're selling your soul to the devil and the soul. Like, hey, that's why we have religion. So you're not going to revert back to an animal. You can go to a higher plane of existence in a higher consciousness of mind. And I'm okay with that. You know, I'm okay with people making money trying to... Because I'm sorry to say it, folks, and again, to the religious people out there, and this is coming from somebody who's done construction, life is fucking hard. You know what? You know what's good money? Doing OnlyFans. You know, doing modeling gigs. Well, it's not perfect money, but it is money. And so is, you know, construction. That's money, but it's hard money. And you know what? Coming from a construction person, I appreciate those people who do modeling and do eroticism and stuff like that. And do, you know, pinups. Because you know what? I work in construction. I work in the extreme cold. I work in the extreme hot. I work in crowded basements. I work in dirty basements. I work in, you know, outside. I work in attics. It's... again, people like Melanie Mac, razorfist, and people of that nature have got an easy life, and they kind of are sitting high and pretty on their, you know, thrones, lecturing everybody that if you do this, you're gonna go to hell. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm trying to do what you do, and I'm not gonna, you know, ignore that. You know, there is this disconnection that those people have. And again, I kind of also like Styx Hammerson, who's kind of normal balance. He's kind of come to the Jesus side a little bit, and I'll say it multiple times, Christ is king. And I'm a firmly believer of that, because Christ is king. You know, I was raised Catholic, and yes, I believe that well. But I also have my problems with the Catholic religion. Why are we not allowed to eat meat on Friday again? Why? That doesn't make any... it's like if I go to hell, and it's like, well, because you ate meat on Friday. That doesn't make any sense. Why is that a rule? No. I want to know. I don't know. Hey, God, why is that a rule? I don't know either. They just made it a rule, and I guess because of the fish. Somebody explain that to me down in the comments below. I might have to look it up myself. But, you know, again, it's the thing that's my problem with religion. Well, that's my problem with, like, this whole thing with what we can have and not have. And again, I understand where razorfist and Melanie Mac are coming from. We can't just have games that just have just lewds. We should have something with contents to it. We can't just have woke agenda nonsense, but we can't have just simple lewd things. I mean, I do want games to go back to a normalcy where we can just accept a character who's dressing attractive just because she just wants to wear that. You know, an example, Jill Valentine from Resident Evil 3. If you didn't know this, in the graphic novel, in the SD Perry novel, Jill wears that outfit because it's for mobility rather than, you know, armor. She needed to move around the city. And granted, my theory was she was out on the town and she was just wanted to dress pretty, and she just got caught wearing that. It's like Die Hard. You know, John McClane, the only reason why John McClane was wearing a wife beater and a khaki pants and no shoes was he got caught in the middle of that nonsense. But again, it's just I just want fun again. I just want my entertainment just to be fun. Not super religious and not super woke. I just want a normal, balanced thing. You can put wokeness, you can put some kind of woke messaging in there. You can put a religious message. You can put religious symbolism in there. But just tell a fucking story. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. And again, it's... I don't think we need to say religious people are bad, because they're trying to make sure we don't go to hell. We need those people to say, hey, you're going down a path that's not going to end well. Come to the good side. We will help you. And honestly, truth be told, you need it. You need sometimes a religion. But nowadays, religion has become compromised with a woke agenda, and I don't think that's what you need. You need you need Jesus, and you don't need to bring in your, like, deviancies into church, or your, like, what you do in the bedroom. You need to just go to Christ to just cleanse your mind and cleanse your soul. I've been trying to get back into the swing of things, but I've also been fighting my demons. I had to fight my one other demon, and hell, he may be coming back on my birthday, but honestly, I'm holding it off. I'm having a Lent, in a sense, because that's what Lent is about. It's giving up something so you have a cleanse of the mind, cleanse of the soul, so you're not going down a dark path of deviancy. You're not going down a dark area that will, send you to the bottomless pit of Dauntless. You know what I mean? That's why Christ exists, man. He's forgiving us for our sins. He's saying, hey, look, if you follow me, you will go to the kingdom of heaven. I'm down with that. I'm absolutely down with that. And honestly, I'm okay with that. But we also have to acknowledge our human nature. We have to acknowledge, the animalistic side to us, and understand that, like, hey, maybe those people have a point. Both sides have good points. For example, I don't know if this is true or not, but with the NoFap, apparently if you don't do it for a while, you do get prostate cancer. But there's been debate about it. If you do it, if you know what I'm talking about, you'll get prostate cancer. But on the other end, it's like, if you don't do it, you do get... And it's just like, nobody... And again, I'm going to point out a lot from the right, and this is coming from a conservative. We select our science. Like, people talk about, well, I don't think that, a normal balanced diet is going to work. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to be honest with you here, too. I'm not somebody who's against any kind of diet. And again, I used to joke about veganists and all that. Yes, it's fun, but I also like the jokes about carnivores as well. Like, oh, people who eat their steak rare or borderline cannibals. It's like, what the okay, you silly goose. Fine, whatever. Go eat your potatoes somewhere else. I'm gonna go have a steak, okay? And honestly, I like carrots. I like eating carrots. I like eating fruit. But I don't think all the vegetables that we're eating are great for you. I think a salad is good, but that's a snack. That's not a healthy snack, and people don't realize that. And I'm not talking about just the lettuce. I'm talking about, the stuff we put on it, the cheese and stuff. And again, that's just me. I think a lettuce is good. I think a salad is good for you, but I also think steak is much more better for you than in the long run. I mean, granted, do we need fiber to push all that shit out? Maybe not. I don't know, but then again, I've been reading Dr. Baker's book, and I think, I've chose to be a carnivore, and I'm sorry, but it's true. Borderline, he's admitted, he's like, I'm not totally carnivore, but I'm somewhat carnivore. But, alright, I think I've spoke long enough, but my final thoughts is that, look, Melanie Mac and Razor have a point, but they're not, but you can disagree with them. But what I really want is a balanced games again. Games that are just video games again. Not interactive movies with messaging, nor do I want this gooner kind of sexuality in the games. And can we get back to games calling us out for being pervs? I mean, like Resident Evil 4, looking up Ashley's skirt and having us call us a pervert, or Norman Reedus punching us in the face if we zoom in on his crotch multiple times in Death Stranding. Have games allow us to do that, but also have the game call us out for being bad. That's all I gotta say. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care, love you, bye-bye. And remember to stay awesome. You're special. Love you, bye-bye.